If you're curious what a data product manager actually does on a daily basis, then stay tuned because I'm about to share with you what the 3 types of work that I do on a daily basis, and I have been managing data products since 2012. And be sure to stay to the end because that's where I'm going to show you a cool hack for creating a company-themed data product manager resume in 10 minutes or less. For the very best data leadership and business building advice, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you'll be first to know when the next episode drops. Also, thank you so much to everyone who's leaving comments and topic suggestions. It's really helping and going a long way in growing this community on YouTube, and I'm so grateful. Thank you. As far as why I'm qualified to say anything about managing data products, like I said, I've been managing data products since 2012. I have built and managed data science products that have served over 1.3 million data professionals so far. I'm actively managing 3 data products right now and bringing them to launch. In case you're new around here, hi, I'm Lillian Pierson, and I support data professionals to becoming world-class data leaders and entrepreneurs. First of all, what is a data product manager? I thought the easiest way for me to explain this would be to show you my makeshift Venn diagram. A data product manager is really a hybrid between a product manager, traditional product manager, and a product data scientist. So there's a good bit of product management, of course, involved in data product management. However, there's also a good bit of a data science involved. With data product management, generally data is the product, either data resources or data expertise. So data is the product, and you use data science and data analytics to actually manage and improve the product over time. To caveat this discussion before going any further, my situation would be quite different than most other data product managers simply because I own my own business. I'm an entrepreneur. So I have been running my own business for almost a decade, and all of the products that I'm managing are either owned by my company or by a client. This matters mostly in terms of what I've seen with respect to teams and how much time traditional data product managers spend in meetings and in communication with teams. Because I own my own business and because I work remotely, well, we don't have meetings in my business, so I don't particularly like going to meetings. So unlike most product managers or product data scientists, I don't spend any time in meetings, which I like. Now let's look at what a data product manager does. So I've broken what I work on down to 3 main categories. Those are product, launch, and metrics and strategy. The metrics inform the strategy, and the strategy drives the growth in both product and product launch. I've created a pretty extensive little mind map that plots out each of the aspects of these 3 main categories of work, and we're going to look at that in a minute, but it's a little more complicated because my business goes in seasons, so the requirements around these different categories shifts according to the season of our business. So I'm going to break down for you what I'm working on a daily basis today. For now, I just want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments below, what do you do on a daily basis as a data professional? I would love to get to know you, and I promise to reply back. All right, looking at what I actually do on a daily basis as a data product manager. It depends on the stage in the life cycle my products are at. So work breakdown by product is we are updating our courses, Python for Data Science Essential Training 1 and 2. Those are owned by LinkedIn Learning, and I am the instructor. That's an information product, data product. It requires data science expertise in order to create it. I used to do everything associated with developing that course. I built it from scratch all by myself, but at this point, my business has grown to the point that I'm not able to do all of the implementation work myself and run the business, which I learned this year while rewriting Data Science for Dummies, bringing me to my second product that I'm managing. That's owned by Wiley. I rewrote it a second time. I've been the author since 2014. It's already done though. So we are just in the launch phase, and I hired a launch manager. So that's why it takes 5%. The reason why this is taking 5% of my time is because I hired a data scientist to come in and help me with building out the curriculum and stuff like that. So especially with this one, because this is an active development, I had to minimize the amount of time I spent there so that I could focus on this course. Now, this course is not a data product. This is a data product, and this is a data product. This is a course that helps data professionals, supports them to hitting 6 figures in the first 12 months of their own data business. So it's data intensive, but it's a course designed for data professionals to help them with the business. So I'm spending 90% of my time on that right now, and it's already developed. We're in launch phase. The reason that I'm not giving more of my time to this product is that I spent all year rewriting Data Science for Dummies. It required me to actually write it, and so I need to catch up in terms of our revenue goals, and Data Creatives & Co. is owned by my company, so it is my signature course. And so this one, since it's client work, I have delegated a lot of the work to another data scientist so I can focus on my main revenue generator for my business. What I work on a daily basis changes according to the season of my business. And we have 3 seasons in my business. I'm just going to cover 2 in this video to try and keep it short. The work breakdown structure for sales and lead season, I'm spending about 40% of my time in launch efforts, managing the launch and planning launch. I spend about 20% of my time managing my team. I spend about 15% of my time doing product planning and development. All of the decisions I make in my business are governed by data analytics and data insights. So that's where, beyond just data products, I'm using data analytics and making data-informed decisions in all aspects of the product management. I spend about 5% of my time generating customer feedback and speaking to customers and just getting ideas for how I can improve my products to make them even better and really understand who my customers are and what their needs are. Well, it's important in product management if you work for an employer, but if it's your own business, then it's definitely important to know your customer and keep improving your product on an iterative basis. And then lastly, because I'm an entrepreneur, the other 20% is other. And just to give you an idea of what my daily work looks like when I'm in visibility and nurture season, things are dramatically different. So I spend about 30% of my time in actual product development then, and 20% of my time managing my team. Then I spend about 15% of my time working on making the delivery systems for products, or actually delivering services, which is not a product management role, but in case I have client work I need to get out, I'll do service delivery and this part. And then because the goal of the business during this season is visibility and nurture, then I spend 10% of my time doing collaboration. So that would be podcasts or live events or guest posting, stuff like that. So 10% collaboration, and then 5% is customer feedback, just speaking with customers and looking for ways to create new products or improve the products I have. And then the other, again, 20% is just running my business. Now, if you like this video on what a data product manager does on a daily basis, then I'm sure you'll love this video I did on creating the perfect data product manager resume. And so we will leave a link to it in the cards in this video as well as in the description below. The easiest way for me to explain what I do on a daily basis right now is to actually go through this with you in a set of slides. So as you recall, we have broken down the type of work data product managers do into 3 categories. So first we'll cover metrics and strategy. And in terms of metrics and strategy, I'm mostly responsible for all of the metrics and strategy. And so what my team does is they collect data that I use. They collect data on a weekly basis. Then I use that in order to inform strategies moving forward. Also, I have a collection of tools that I use to provide analytics so that we know what is working and what's not working. And once a week I pop in and I look at our metrics and analytics. Like metrics, a lot of them it's basically leads and sales for the business, and like what marketing channels are producing leads and sales and why, and then which ones are not performing well and why. And then I also look at finance. So I have a team member collecting the data, I've got tools, and then I've also got another team member who is doing finance. So I look at all of these metrics and analytics on Tuesday of every week. And then I'm continually doing competitive analysis, just because we're always in the process of developing something, whether it be content that is bringing leads and sales to the business, or products or programs or services. So I've got a variety of tools that I use on a daily basis to basically just get information about even partnerships. And, like if I link to a website, anything, I use data to inform and make sure I'm making a good decision on everything that I'm in charge of with the business. And since it's my business, it's basically everything. I also do A/B testing on sales pages. And then my team also does A/B testing for me in email tools and stuff like that. So our A/B testing is facilitated by a variety of tools we have. And then market research, I'm always doing market research. And that's very similar to competitive analysis, but somewhat different. So I have tools for that, and you don't need to collect the data raw because tools are there to provide those answers for you. And then lastly, there's strategy development. So just mostly by looking at metrics and analytics on a weekly basis, then I update our strategy to do more of what's working and less of what's not working, and also to do testing to gain traction in new markets or new channels. So that's about strategy and development. Also, there's so metrics and tracking is informing short-term strategy, but then market research, competitive analysis, that's more stuff that can lead into a long-term strategy. So you have to kind of look at both intervals, not just focus on one or the other. So metrics and this component of work allows me to do that. And as you can see, they're mostly all orange. That indicates that these are mostly all data aspects of the role. And then the strategy development is more like product management. Moving on to the next segment of work, there's launch work. And that's a pretty important part of product management. And honestly, it's a pretty important part of having a business. So we are aiming for 2 to 3 launches per year. How it works is I do the requirements planning, and then I hand things off to my team. In terms of launch marketing, we have copywriters and content managers, but the subject matter expertise for the data expertise and the entrepreneurship expertise comes from me. So I create source content, and then I hand it off to my team for basically formatting, repurposing, preparing it in the way that it needs to be consumed along our channels in order for it to perform there, and then also posting it. So that's what the team does there. Conversion medium, that would be for launch assets. That's like my launch opt-in, and then sales pages, also checkout forms and funnels. All of those things are conversion medium, and I work on that, and my team works on that. So it just depends on how much time I have and how many things I'm doing. Usually I can do everything with the conversion medium, but it doesn't always make sense to, so I also hand it over to my team because I don't have time. As a web developer for that. Events, that's all me because I'm the business owner, so I need to show up and show my face. And then data collection on launches is again team, but they collect the data, and then I I see how things performed in terms of conversions and open rates and sales and leads, and then I can make improvements for the next launch cycle. The last category of work here is product. Right now, we've already covered like what products I'm actively working on, but just for this discussion, just know that these are not new products. We're in version 3 or higher for all of my products. So that means we're more in the improvement mode rather than like raw development. The first thing though is always validating your product. So because I've already sold all of these and I know my market and everything, they're validated. But that's more of a data aspect than a product management aspect. That's more of a traditional, like more of data, because the validation requires, a metrics, analysis, and then ultimately sales. So, and looking at conversion rates and stuff. So that's more data. And then product requirements, because it's my business, it's my vision for the products, then the requirements come from me, but that's more traditional product management. Design. I do not do my own design. I can do some design, but what I do is I have a designer, professional designer, and I have a web developer. And so my designer basically creates the aesthetic, the brand, the colors, the fonts, the layout, like sets it all up for me. So I basically can just replicate what she's done if I need to design something. I don't design stuff myself because I'm not a designer. So I have a team. My web developer helps implement. Sometimes like the designer is not a web developer. So we have to like get some tech stuff going on the back end, and my web developer helps with that. And essentially, so I coordinate with my team on that. I don't exactly like, especially the designer, I don't tell her exactly what to do because she's the designer and it's her area of expertise. So, but I do tell her like what I like and what I don't like and stuff like that. Yeah. And with products, same thing. It's just like everything needs to be done professional. All the templates and base assets need to be done professionally by a designer. And then I can use them to populate, or me and my team use them to populate and create products out of the template. Product testing. Okay. So I of course test my products, and then my team also tests them. And then in this case, we already have users because this is version 3. So we get feedback from them on a continual basis, and that equals data, which we then cycle back through to make improvements to the products on the next round. The majority of my products are data products, data science, information products. Then the improvements and development work is done by data scientists, namely me, and I have another data scientist working with me at this point to help me with some things. And then for my business mentorship and curriculum, that's 100% me. So we have kind of a group where I'm bringing in now data scientists because I don't have enough time to work on all of my products, and data science is easier to find help for than the stuff that is actually like coming straight from my brain, which is entrepreneurship stuff. So that is the third phase. That is the third type of work. And congratulations on staying it to the end, because that's where I'm going to tell you about the resume hack. So what I did is I went ahead and created a customizable data product manager template inside of Canva. And so you can just go over there. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. You can go over there, and then all you need to do is change out the colors in the fonts in order to customize your product manager resume for each company you apply to. And because design is such an important aspect of product management, it can go a long way in making sure you get a callback. So I hope you enjoy that template. If you want to know more about how to use it and how to create a perfect resume for data product manager, then of course there's that video I recommended. And like I said, data product management has a lot to do with both business. It requires business strategy and data strategy. So I wanted to let you know about my data strategy action plan, which is a plan of action of 44 sequential steps for data professionals who want to get their next promotion by leading only profit-forming data projects. If you'd like to get that, I will leave a link to it in the description below. Also, we have a free Facebook group, and it's called Becoming World-Class Data Leaders and Entrepreneurs. You are so welcome. I'd love to see you in there. We'll put a link to it in the description below as well. And if you like this video, be sure to show it some love by giving it a thumbs up and tell me what interests you most about the data product manager role.